Hello, and welcome to Super Mario Words, where we talk about random Mario things and rank them.
Heck yeah.
I'm Sen,
And I'm Drew.
and today we are talking about Smithy.
Smithy!
So Smithy is a Super Mario RPG character.
Yes, the big main villain.
Yeah, he's the final boss. At the start of the game, his giant sword teleporter thing.
From another dimension?
Yeah, falls out of the sky, destroys the star road that grants wishes, and falls on Bowser's castle.
Yes.
And he tries to take over the world by creating an army of living weapons.
Yes. Like kind of clockworky, robot-y ones.
Yeah, and he's kind of like robot blacksmith,
Basically.
but with like a giant beard and mustache
Yes.
and like a crown.
like an evil Santa.
Yeah, he has been officially compared to Santa.
In the Nintendo Player's Guide, which is about as official as you can get, I think.
It is, yeah. Speaking of official, we really haven't made use of our big Mario book.
Ooh, that's true, actually. But it doesn't have Super Mario RPG, does it?
I don't think it has that much on the spin-offs.
Okay.
It hasn't been as much of a resource as I'd hoped.
Yeah.
But anyway. So, okay. So our first discussion question of the day is, who made Smithy?
Who made Smithy? Because Smithy definitely seems to be some sort of created being. Like, he doesn't feel like he's from a race of Smithies.
No, I mean, he's I would say he's pretty explicitly a machine.
Yeah.
And we see a little bit of what is, I believe, referred to as his dimension.
Yeah.
But
his homeworld.
Just kind of like this factory.
Yeah, that's all tinted red with a bunch of extra Smithies laying around.
Well, so we see some of the, like, there's actually like an outside area.
Ah, okay.
Which is just kind of, it has like factory platforms and like conveyor belts and stuff. With kind of like, I think it's just kind of like an abstract background. I mean, this is a Square Enix joint, so abstract backgrounds are kind of their thing. So we don't really see much besides just kind of his factory, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't really have any information. We don't even know if this is his home dimension or just where he lives now.
That is true, because it's implied he's been through a lot of dimensions, and he creates anthropomorphic weapons which he uses against other worlds.
Yeah, for all we know, this could just be a pocket dimension inside this sword.
That's true.
Which would make a lot of sense. We don't even know how the sword got to the Mario universe.
It's just kind of sliced through the dimensional barriers.
Yeah,
you do.
I guess so. So yeah, we have touched on some interdimensional stuff in our previous episodes.
We definitely have the ghost dimension, the dimension the Shy Guys are from.
Yeah, do we have we charted like 3 dimensions so far? So we have Mario's the Mario-terial plane.
That's good.
And the ghost dimension.
Yeah.
The Booth-erial plane.
Oh, you're gonna go full D&D on this, are you?
I guess so. But I don't have a pun one for the Shy Guys.
Well, their dimension is kind of destroyed, we assumed.
Yeah.
At the very least, like, wherever they came from in their dimension is unfit for habitation.
Yeah, well, so maybe they're from the elemental plane of Ash.
No, that's where Pokemon takes place.
But yeah, I know a surprising amount about Planescape despite having never played D&D.
That's fair.
Anyway, so that tangent aside,
yes,
Smithy doesn't really seem like he could really be said to be from any of those.
Yeah, like, man. Like, he really feels like he was probably from somewhere completely unrelated to Mario's world.
Yeah, there's actually kind of an underlying idea of like different tonal universes.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the sort of like jokey thing of what happens when you have like crossovers between universes.
Yeah.
That are like very different in tone. Which I can't think of any good examples offhand.
Well, you can't have James Bond investigating the Teletubbies.
I mean, I was thinking of ones that actually happened.
I mean, fair. Like, I don't know, Doctor Who and Star Trek. Those
Yeah.
are actually pretty similar.
Or like crossing over the Punisher with
Archie.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
That did happen.
See, I was actually thinking of a different one, but yours makes more sense. I was gonna say crossing him with Eminem.
Oh gosh.
That also happened.
Oh wow.
But
That's
yeah,
right.
the Punisher and Archie is a good example of that.
Yeah. And like Smithy is the Punisher here.
Yes. And in fact, like there's kind of another nod to that with Culex.
Yeah.
Who is like an optional boss who's like Final Fantasy styled.
Oh yeah.
Like he has the 4 crystals, and it's kind of implied that he's from like a Final Fantasy world, although not like any of the ones. He's not like a character from like any of the actual canon games, but he's kind of implied to be in that vein.
Yeah.
So I think this idea of like clashing tones is kind of like a deliberate thematic element of this game.
Yeah, like we could even say that Smithy is from the Final Fantasy multiverse.
He could be, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not quite that level of intensity, but
That's true. He does still look like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
But then again, like he actually transforms into a form that's a way weirder and more robot-y. So
actually, since we're drawing on Final Fantasy lore, you know what he does remind me a little bit of?
What's that?
Is Final Fantasy X's Machina.
Oh, yeah.
Where they do have kind of like autonomous soldier robots.
That's true. And actually, in terms of style, more than any Final Fantasy, his whole deal kind of reminds me of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I could see there being some kind of Xanarkin style situation.
Yeah.
Where he's like the result of like out of control mechanization.
Yeah.
Of like a fantasy society.
Yeah, and like especially if a society that went to war and decided to create, self-creating and self-repairing weapons, and it went terribly wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
as you do.
Having an evil blacksmith Santa Claus making living weapons throughout the multiverse is about as bad of an outcome of a war as you can have.
Pretty much.
That's kind of up there, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's probably. So what we're basically saying is that fleshy people, maybe human. He looks kind of human-y. Made Smithy, and they probably Smithy killed him.
Yeah, I could see that, and the fact that, oh man, did they invent interdimensional travel, or did he?
That's a good question.
Because we don't really know for sure how he got here.
That is true.
Honestly, I feel like it's possible that he at least played a part in completing that process. Like maybe this was a society that had already started doing multiverse research.
Yeah.
And knowing that multiverses exist, his programming compelled him to fill all known spaces with weapons.
Yeah. Like a paperclip maximizer for big fucking swords.
Yeah. Which he's got like a giant 100-meter tall sword with a mouth that just falls from the sky, and it's
extremely over the top.
It's kind of badass. In fact, it's got 2 mouths. It's got what is the crossbar of the sword called?
Oh, the
guard?
pommel, or maybe the guard.
I think it's the guard. Yeah, the guard has a big ass mouth with tiny little scorpion arms.
Oh yeah.
And then also the top of the sword, I think that might be the pommel.
Okay.
Has a skull mouth on it.
Yeah.
It's delightfully over the top.
Also it can talk.
Yes, it can talk. It is. You fight it.
Mm-hmm.
You punch it till it opens its mouth, and you climb inside to go to Smithy's dimension.
Yes.
We got to do a playthrough of this game. At some point.
We really do.
It's so ridiculous.
Also, the mouth is named Neo Squid.
Yeah, I don't have any explanation for why that is. There's some odd translation oddities.
Yeah,
floating around.
Psychopath.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I raise my eyebrows at some of those because I'm like, I feel like an English speaker has touched these, and you at least know that's off.
Not a great word to, yeah.
Like you'd know, even if you had the word wrong, you would probably know that's not the right word.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The conditions of like localization were not the best back then.
It was the 90s.
I love how even though the Mario Wiki admits which is inexplicably translated Neo Squid. That's very good. But yeah, I'm trying to get an idea of like if we can learn anything from this Swords article, but I don't think there's anything
No, I don't think so.
new to gain. But yeah, so we now have a new mystery, which we will have to connect back to because this is canon now.
Yes, it definitely is.
This mysterious society, like maybe there are other artifacts.
Ooh, yeah.
That we can learn from them. Gonna have to keep an eye out for more interdimensional shit. So now we have 4 dimensions. We have the Mario Terrio plane, the Ghost dimension, the Shy Guy dimension, and Smithy's home dimension.
And actually,
in
light of that, I have a thought that isn't covered directly by any of our questions, so I figured I'd ask it now.
Okay.
Which is, what if Smithy, or part of the Smithy gang, or part of that whole deal, was what killed Phanto?
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
And like... The first thing Smithy does when entering this dimension is destroy a very powerful, magical feature of the world, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have been... It's possible that Smithy destroyed the Shy Guy's home dimension.
Yeah.
Is what happened there. That seems very likely. But yeah, so I think that we unfortunately can't glean much information yet.
It's true.
But I think that we can kind of put together what kind of beings created Smithy.
Yeah.
So let's move on to number 2.
Yes.
Was more than one Smithy created?
Right, because there are a lot of Smithy pieces in his dimension, and especially in the background of the final battle.
Yeah, it's actually really creepy.
Yeah.
Like he has this, he like transforms and has this like horrible, like creepy head, and there's just like piles of the creepy head just all over in the background.
Ah, man.
And like a giant one just way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a theory.
Yes.
Which is, I think that Smithy, I think there's only one Smithy, and this is my argument.
All right.
I think that maybe Smithy was supposed to be like an experimental prototype.
Ooh, yeah.
For what they were doing, and possibly there was some sort of process, some sort of unique thing about his construction that enabled him to do, to do the things he does.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, maybe he's the only living machine with a flux drive or something.
Some kind of MacGuffin nonsense.
Yeah. But Smithy overran and destroyed the society that made him before they could build any more.
Yeah.
And so I think that Smithy would probably be motivated to create copies of himself.
Oh.
Because then he could like spread further and maybe he could perfect his own design.
Ooh, okay.
But I think that probably he was unable to do it. Like the one thing that he's not able to manage, like the one thing that is beyond his abilities to create is a copy of himself.
Ooh, yeah.
And so I think that buried under his workshop is all of his failed attempts to create
new Smithies.
Man,
that's good. That's really good.
What do you think? Do you have any counter arguments to that theory?
No, I like that a lot. And furthermore, like, I had a thought, which is, it's possible that Smithy's just ability to come up with new things is probably limited.
That has a certain measure of sense, yeah.
Yeah, like, he was supposed to be, obey the orders and stuff, and that didn't take, obviously, but his programming is still probably limited in the respect of,
Yeah, because, like, he clearly has the ability to strategize and plan and to create, like, reproduce in extreme detail a specific, like, machine plan.
Yeah.
And I think that you may be right. So the thing about Smithy is that he has a ton of actually maybe not. I was thinking maybe each of his generals is like one of his attempts at like a creative act.
Ooh.
But the thing is that when we go to Smithy's factory, we just see copies of them.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
just like rolling down the assembly line. And so maybe those were already part of his blueprints.
Ah, man.
And he can't actually come up with new designs.
That's disturbing.
But there is one interesting thing about it.
Yes.
Which is that the copies, all of the copies of past enemies that you find in the factory are called machine maids.
Ooh.
The machine maids don't have any like visible personality. Like they don't seem to have any real agency beyond being proficient in combat.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if like what imbued his generals with like sentience.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good question. Like maybe there's only one, of the like AI or whatever for each of them.
Yeah. And maybe that's part of like his like attempt to create something new is to install like a true brain inside the templates that he's provided with.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my theory, and it's possible that with like that those were installing a brain in a template for one of his existing designs rather than a template for himself was one of the steps in trying to create a copy of himself.
Yeah.
And so maybe they were prototypes for a copy of Smithy, and it's possible that he may have eventually succeeded. But we've destroyed the only Smithy in the universe.
Yes.
So now there's never going to be another Smithy.
Ah, man. That's good.
Yeah. So that's I guess I ended up kind of dominating this discussion.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I think, do you have anything to add to that?
Ah, man. No, other than, gosh. Yeah, no, that would make sense. That said, there may be other members of the Smithy gang on other worlds or other parts of this whole deal, even if Smithy himself is truly gone.
It's possible. We can't write off the possibility.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to know.
Yeah.
Mario does not have free interdimensional travel.
No, he does not. I mean, the closest they have to that kind of thing is stuff like Matter Splatter Galaxy. So
yeah, I'll bet Rosalina could travel to other dimensions if she wanted.
That's true.
But what?
So the first thing Smithy destroys is Star Road. That absolutely sounds like something that's associated with Rosalina.
That makes sense. She's stars.
Maybe that literally cut off her access to this world.
Maybe.
Yeah. Which would explain, like, you would think that this is the exact kind of problem she would deal with, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Interdimensional bullshit.
Yeah.
Man, we already know Rosalina's backstory, or else I might start theorizing, like, what if she is a refugee from Smithy's home dimension?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we know Rosalina's backstory in broad, vague detail. There's a lot more you could add to that.
That's true.
Probably not refugee from Smithy's dimension, but,
No, like, Rosalina's story exists in a totally different tone.
Yeah.
Entirely.
That's actually interesting, because when you talk about different tones intersecting, that's kind of an example.
Yeah. Man, Mario Galaxy is such a weird and interesting game.
Yeah.
All right, are we satisfied with our answer to that question?
Very satisfied.
All right, then let's move on. So we do know that there are some living weapons in native to Mario's universe.
That's true.
Like bullet bills.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
Are there any others that are out there?
Well, let's see. Other than bullet bill variations, there's we've talked before about the hopping statues from Bowser's Castle, but we don't know if those are actually alive.
That's true. We do have like thwomps and their derivatives.
That's true. Those definitely I would count.
You know, thwomps and thwomps and thwomps. Yeah, I would say because they're almost like kind of golems.
Yeah. They're definitely. Oh man, I don't. Yeah, there's not a lot of them though. I feel like Bowser's evil biologists are doing more work than anybody who makes living weapons there.
But they do exist.
They do exist.
Did we ultimately decide that dry bones are bone golems?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So actually, there's like we're probably talking about weapons animated by magic.
That is true.
More likely. Whereas Smithy clearly uses magitechnology.
Yes. Just like in Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Smithy would make an anthropomorphic gun. He wouldn't make something that fires bullets with faces.
Yeah, and
I think that's the big difference here.
Well, clearly what this other dimension developed is something far more powerful, which is a self-replicating sentient weapon.
That is true.
And so, clearly, just kind of enchanting a bullet to be alive.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, have we really considered what a tremendous act of cruelty that is?
Okay, to be fair, we don't know, like, what the experience of a bullet bill is like, you know? It's possible that they just get picked up and put back.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, man.
There are definitely games where bullet bills explode, though.
That's true. Oh, bombs.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
As Dennis Hopper would remind us. Ba-bomb. Oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so I think that we are talking about, like, a very different thing.
Yeah, no, it's... Yeah, so they are living weapons, but very... created under a very different process.
Bullet golem. Why do they need arms?
Well, you know, to pick things up.
But
the thing is, not all of them have arms.
That's true, but some of them do.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
And they have eyes, so we know they're sentient.
Yeah, yeah. We found out that is actually 100% canon as of the release of Paper Mario: The Origami King. That wasn't canon already, mind you.
What? How did we find that?
No, you remember that thing with the wood?
Yeah, wow. That was horrific.
That was super horrific.
You chop up wood and all of the logs have eyes, and they talk... Don't they talk about wanting to be burned?
They talk about when they ask you to burn them.
That's awful.
And they're like... Well, to be fair, they're also like, well, turn to ashes and be reborn. Which is disturbing in a different way.
It's the circle of life. That reminds me, I can't remember if we mentioned this in our piranha plant episode, but piranha plants are not sentient.
That is true. They don't have eyes. None of them. Not even Petey.
Not a surprise to me.
Yeah.
That was a while. That was like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? But yeah, that's just something I kind of mulled over. I'm willing to commit to that. Piranha plants are not sentient.
Fire flowers have more of an inner life than Petey Piranha.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Clearly.
Okay, so are we satisfied with our answer to that question?
Yeah. So there's no connection.
No.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, they're different types. They're different classes of things.
Yeah.
We clearly, like, we are talking about a society with far more advanced technology than anything that currently exists in the Mario universe.
It's true. Except the shit Rosalina has.
Yeah.
Or even possibly the stuff Sarasaland has.
If I had a better memory for it, I could make an EG reference right now. The aliens in EG have like a word for like self-destruction through technological advancement.
Oh damn!
I think it's Zentridon. Yeah. So
this is an excellent example of that.
I'm just full of deep cuts today.
You are.
So
getting in there.
All right, let's move on. I wrote this wrong, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
Why did I write, why is Smithy vulnerable to weapons? No, why is Smithy vulnerable to wishes?
There you go.
Oh, and we want to pull the quote from the wiki. Do you have that on hand?
Well, first of all, isn't it just the top of the page?
It might be. Let's see. Tried to get rid of all the power of wishes from the world. As such, Smithy attempts to prevent the restoration of wishes, since the Star Road and the dreams of individuals represent a direct threat to Smithy's reign. Now, I do have what I would consider the canon answer, and
yes.
we can decide if we can figure out something more canon, better canon.
Yeah.
Which is that I think that this is a subject in Paper Mario 2.
This is a recurring subject in Paper Mario. Looking at there's actually a wiki article for wishes.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm definitely going to have to take a look at that.
In the Paper Mario games and in the Mario and Luigi games.
Right.
Especially Dream Team.
Because I think that wishes are an intrinsic threat to villains in the cosmology of the Mario universe.
Yes.
Because when people are threatened, they wish for salvation from danger.
Yes.
So therefore wishes preserve the safety of the universe.
It's true. It's almost like wishes are a power that is available to anyone, whereas like the kind of weapons Smithy creates are very hierarchical.
Yeah, which I feel like there's a lot of if we wanted to like take this idea seriously, we could ask like in a universe where the power of wishes exists, how would that affect like oppression? Would there be a monarchy in a world where wishes have power?
Well, yes, it would be an anarcho-monarchy.
Right. Well, there you go.
There you go.
It would be.
It's entirely possible that like somehow the Mushroom Kingdom has the most like wish power in some sense, because that's where, I mean, I guess the Star Road is in Dinosaur Land, but it seems to be generally around this world.
Well, I mean, it's in the sky.
Yeah.
Right.
It's in the sky. But there seems to be a lot of interaction with that in there.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the basic idea is...
And maybe that's actually the power that, like, Princess Peach and Princess Daisy exist to channel.
I mean, Princess Peach actually, like, literally uses wish power in combat in Paper Mario.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, so I think that
yeah.
There's a lot to chew on there.
There is.
We should just straight up do an episode on the article Wish.
Yeah.
We should put that on the docket.
Maybe make that, like, combine that with an episode about the Star Road or which not.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that, like, that's an important part of it because Smithy kind of represents, like, a dark world.
Yeah.
Which, like, you can almost see the idea of wishes kind of enforcing Mario's tone.
Yeah, definitely. Like, things can't get too bad if you can wish upon a star and have a reasonable possibility of it being granted.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this raises something important that I think we actually need to consider.
Yes.
It's not just that wishes were a threat to Smithy.
Yeah.
It's that he, ahead of time, pre-invasion, he knew wishes were a problem and acted to do something about it.
That is true.
So he already has familiarity with wish power.
Oh, man.
Which raises the question, was wish power part of his native land, like his native dimension?
It's possible. Like, oh, Lord. It's possible that there was... That is something that had been intrinsic to that world, perhaps not as powerful as in the Mario world, but definitely there, and that it was something that was destroyed during whatever war this is.
Well, see, now I'm thinking,
he was created for.
What if the wish power of Smithy's native world was destroyed prior to the war breaking out?
Ooh, yeah.
And
so they have, like, historical evidence of it, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that... The power of wishes being destroyed caused the universe to become
Gritty.
grimdark.
Yes.
Oh man, imagine a conception of Warhammer 40K where there used to be wish power, and that was what kept it from becoming grimdark.
Oh, I love that actually.
That would make so many 40K fans mad.
Well, then it's canon.
Yeah, that's
We're bringing the Warhammer 40K universe into this multiverse specifically to say that the power of wishes used to exist there.
We're just handing out canon to every series.
Yeah, we are.
We're giving
Sonic. Here's some canon. Final Fantasy 40K.
Yeah, we're just
the
giving
Matrix.
We're giving out canon like candy. Canon D.
Sweet.
So
canon.
yeah, okay. So this is a rough timeline that we're reconstructing of Smithy's homeworld.
Yeah.
They had a wish power.
They had wish power.
Some kind of calamity occurred which destroyed it.
Yeah.
And they were unable to destroy a wish. They were unable to restore a wish power.
Yeah.
And therefore, they weren't able to wish for peace.
Yeah.
And so some kind of instigating event occurred, which caused war to break out. And their universe became darker and more dangerous.
Yeah.
And one side tried to build a smithy to win the war, and he went out of control. And so Smithy knows from the history of his world that wish power would have prevented his creation.
Yeah.
And that's why when he comes to a universe with wish power,
he preemptively attacks it.
Yeah. Which you realize what this means, right?
Yeah.
So like they start like restoring the Star Road before they confront Smithy. So they are starting to rebuild the wish power and then confront him.
Yes.
So what this means is wish power is so important to the defeat of Smithy. That means that the Warhammer 40K universe is more vulnerable to Smithy's attack than the Mario universe.
It's true.
Because there's no wish power.
It's 100% true.
Although the 40K universe is really big, so it would take him a while.
It would. It would.
On the other hand, I think that there are already like universe-wide like invasion threats in 40K, so they would have some competition.
It's true.
In that one.
It's true.
Smithy would probably... I feel like Smithy would not like hang out there himself too long. He would probably just send a lot of weapons there.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's why Smithy is vulnerable to wishes and not weapons.
Yeah.
He's vulnerable to weapons because if you hit him a lot, he breaks.
That's true for most people.
And
even robot people.
It's true of, I would say, every robot person.
Mm-hmm. Also, I do want to note real quick that in this, like, wishes are intrinsically different from magic. Smithy can use magic.
He can summon sword rain. He
has a whole magic mode.
He does. He has a horrific magic head.
Yeah. So, yeah, magic and wishes both exist in the Mario universe, but they are different things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a wish, what was it? A wish is a hope your heart makes?
No, a dream is a wish your heart makes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's all kind of vaguely inspirational words. So
yes, it is.
But dreams are a separate thing.
That is true. Although, oh man, there's something in one of the later Mario and Luigi games where dreams and wishes, there's a whole deal there.
Well, if a dream is a wish your heart makes, then do your dreams end up in the Star Road?
Yes. And your really weird dreams end up at Special World.
You know what? Yeah, I can see that. Anyway.
Once I had a dream where I blew up like a balloon. It was just kind of floating around these weird football players who were throwing baseballs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that's more of a nightmare.
Yeah. It sure is.
I didn't even beat that level that long ago. What did I?
Yeah.
God, that sucks. Anyway, I think we can move on to the ranking.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Shall we just start in the middle?
Yeah.
All right. So is Smithy above or below Bunt?
Yeah, I'm going to say above.
Yeah, that's probably safe.
Yeah,
as much as I like Bunt,
yeah.
Smithy's a good villain.
See, he's a good villain.
I would absolutely advocate for Smithy to come back.
Right?
But
like probably rights problems are holding it up.
There's a lot of good characters that only appeared in that game.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, above Bunt, I have no complaints about that.
Yeah.
Above Matter Splatter Galaxy?
I would say.
Yeah.
Like, Smithy has his own weird dimensional shit going on, so.
It's true. Above Paintings?
Smithy?
You know,
it's interesting. Paintings are kind of comparable to Smithy's technology.
Smithy, despite the fact that Smithy does not feature for that long in the game, like, he's such a flavorful villain.
It's true.
And I think I would be pretty comfortable putting him above.
Okay.
Ooh, this is where it's going to start getting difficult.
Yeah.
Above or below Phanto?
My first impulse is below.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Make your argument, because I'm not sure I agree.
That's fair. Phanto, I mean, Smithy's a good villain.
Uh-huh.
Lots of flavor, lots of all of that. But I just don't feel like he's as memorable as Phanto. And the thing is, while the Smithy gang as a whole, I might put above Phanto. Smithy himself really only gets anything like at the maybe. Does he even appear at the very beginning?
No.
Or is it just the sword talking?
It's just, I mean, the sword doesn't even talk until the end of the game.
There you go. Yeah, so Smithy himself only has that final scene.
Yeah, it's
And
a very Square Enix plot.
Yeah.
Where you only see the villain in, like, the final confrontation.
Exactly.
I wish they didn't do that so much.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's fair. I agree. But I feel like just the Smithy experience is still pretty self-contained, and therefore you can compare it pretty directly against Phanto. And
yeah.
I feel like the imprint that Phanto left on people is just stronger.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, there's so little of Phanto.
Yeah.
He really is comparable in that he basically only appears in one game.
Yeah, he only appears in one game and in one type of situation, even though he reappears that situation. But...
yeah, but he left a really strong impression on people.
Yeah. And I feel like while Smithy's definitely a strong character, he just isn't that iconic.
I'm still mulling this one over, so let's go over what else we would be putting Smithy below.
Yeah. What's just above Phanto?
So above Phanto is Princess Daisy.
Okay. I'm pretty comfortable with that one.
Okay, Professor Elvin Gad.
Yeah.
Goombella, and the Ghost House.
Yeah.
I think I would be fine putting him below Princess Daisy.
Yeah, but you think he should go above Phanto?
I guess because I have a lot of affection for Smithy.
That's true.
And I have experienced.
That's true, and I've never played all the way through Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
So I can bow to your experience in this.
Because I don't know. I'm just thinking like the presentation and like the music and all of that like does a lot for Smithy's character.
True. I've actually had the Smithy like Final Battle theme on my hard drive for like probably 20 years now or something like that, 15, and just listen to it every so often. It's just really good. Yeah,
because Smithy has this like really like kind of intense like driving boss theme where you fight him in his workshop.
Yeah.
And then when you beat his first phase, he like freaks out and like pounds the floor and he breaks through into this like hellscape of horrible robot heads.
Yeah.
And the music, it kind of goes into like this kind of like haywire, like unhinged version of it. And there's a lot of like really good atmosphere work in his boss fight.
Yeah, it is very strong.
Because I think the impression that Phantom makes on people is a very strong one.
Yeah.
But it's carried kind of by a lot of like memories of like a very simple experience of this like creepy mask kind of chasing you.
Yeah.
And I feel like the work that goes into establishing Smithy as a character and like as like an atmospheric experience with the final boss fight is stronger.
Well, then we'll go with that.
All right, then we will put him above Phanto and below Princess Daisy.
Yeah, that feels right.
So I think we've managed to reach an agreement. Is this our first like big disagreement in terms of rankings? Because I think we have mostly, we did have some discussion over Daisy, but I think we didn't have a lot of like division once we finally kind of.
Yeah, we did talk about whether or not we should put the Ghost House at the very top.
Yeah. I think
this may be our biggest.
This is kind of where the first time we've really come down like close to 50-50 split.
Yeah, so that's nice, and that'll probably happen more often. That we have this enough things to make a finer grained distinction.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to get to the part where like the upper third or so is starting to have a good level of granularity.
Yeah,
I don't know how so much the kind of bottom of our ranking so much.
Yeah,
like there is a monumental gulf between Stu and PD Piranha that we may never fill, because I hate him so and much. His stupid pants so much. His pants that are stupid.
I feel like we'll at least find things to put in between PD Piranha and Stu. I'm not sure we'll find anything to put below PD.
You know, that's true. I'm trying to think of if there what else I would be close to like disliking.
Yeah, leaving out like stuff like Hotel Mario or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's a low bar, and also I've never experienced it, so
that's true. Although we are planning to play Mario is Missing.
We are. We may come to that. Might Anyway.
I
guess that's all for us today, huh?
Yep.
All right. Then I guess we will see you again next time.
See you then.